Okay, I'm gonna have to hold my phone because all of a sudden my computer was being a butthead. So, hello. How are you? Let me see some people pop on. Hey, Amy. Yay, Michelle. Okay, cool. I wanted to have a little bit of somebody here before I started talking, right? So, this just came to me like to really give extra support in this time when we're all homebound and needing some extra support. Hey, Lisa. So the question is always how do you help women break these toxic cycles? My clients are people who mainly women, 99% women, who have these repeated cycles of attracting these narcissistic men, these toxic relationships, and myself. I was in it for over, my entire life up until 8 years ago. So how do you break that? It seems like impossible, but it's actually not that impossible. Hey, Marcy. So if you don't know me, my name is Denise Dominguez. I am a transformational coach, and I specialize in helping women heal after these repeated cycles, this toxicity that they are stuck in. So when women come to me, they have noticed they've already divorced the toxic person, and perhaps they've divorced more than one toxic person. So sometimes it's one divorce, but I do get women, I've had up to 4 divorces with one woman. She had been married 4 times. Hey, Heather, how are you? And this is the cycle, right? Here's the thing. These people, and I'm just going to say people because women show up the exact same way. These people show up initially, and this is how you fall for it, right? So I don't want you to think that there's anything wrong with you, you're stupid, you're dumb, because I get a lot of women, they're like, how could this happen to me? How could I let this happen to me? What is it in me? I don't want you to think that there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. These people show up in a way that is very charming and charismatic. These people show up in a way that they make everything about you. So you feel very important, you feel very valued, and they do this purposely so to suck you in, right? To get you in. It's not until after you've been in this relationship with somebody. So we could be talking about romantic relationship. We could be talking about coworkers, friends, acquaintances. We could be talking about any relationship, but it's not until that months, sometimes years later, that you go, holy crap, I don't even know who I am anymore. You lost yourself in this relationship. You've lost your identity because the manipulation is so very subtle. It's so very subtle. You are brilliant. You are smart. You are, all of those things. So I don't want you to think for 1 second that it's your fault at all. It's not your fault. Okay, so I got a email today or a message on Facebook, and it is from a woman, and I want to read it to you because when I was reading what she had said to me, I was like, oh my gosh, she is the ideal. She is exactly who I talk about. So we had been in contact before, and I had given her some things to do. So she says, I put off the sessions that you told me to do. And I get the emails you send, but I rarely read them. I think it still hurts too much to think about it all. I'm great at avoidance, but I keep doing it. I keep choosing the same man. I keep getting sucked into the lies. I'm working on changing my life, and I've done amazing. But this one area I keep falling in, it's my biggest weakness. But then I also tell myself, it's me, not them. Yesterday, I called a man out on a lie, and he ignored me the rest of the day. Then finally said that what I said, I'm quoting her, what I said was fucked up. So I apologized, even though I know what I said was true. He ignored me anyway. I'm so tired of being hurt like this. So I want to break this down for you. If this sounds familiar, like it's you, or you've been through this, then you totally get it. Here's what happens. We get caught up in these people-pleasing ways, right? Hey, Mary, we get caught up in these people-pleasing ways. When you call somebody out on a lie, first of all, there's a lot right there that I can't get into because it's super deep. But these types of people, they're never going to admit that they see their flaws. They're never going to admit to their flaws. They're never going to take responsibility for themselves. That's the whole thing about them, right? Everything is your fault. They blame everything on you, or they blame their parents or the government or whatever. They always shift the blame to somebody else. They don't take any responsibility for themselves. That's a huge red flag, by the way. So when you call somebody out on a lie and I'm getting messages, and you and they want to shift it onto you and blame you and tell you that what you said was fucked up, instead of going, instead of being mature about it and saying, let's talk about this. Because if somebody cares for you, they're going to want to work this out. They're truly concerned about your needs. So that's one thing that you really need to pay attention to, okay? So when you apologize for something that you're not sorry for, you just want to smooth it over, or you just want this person's attention, you just want this person to not be mad at you anymore. This is some deep people pleasing. And this is you not valuing you and really ultimately giving the other person permission to abuse you, because that little scenario that I just gave you was a form of abuse. Here's the other thing. Abuse comes in so many ways, and we're not taught abuse on all of these levels. Mainly what we're shown as abuse is the physical, the sexual, and then maybe the emotional part, right? And that's even questionable. But the physical and the sexual, that's plain as day. We know that's abuse. So when all of these other subtle ways of being abused comes in, we don't know. We're confused. We're not sure. But yeah, what I described to you is abuse. So I want to go into sharing with you how I help women break the cycles of abuse. And you may think like especially if you've been in these cycles of toxic relationships your entire life, like I was, you may think like it takes forever, it's a long time, or like some people are in hey Tammy, in therapy for 10 plus years and they're still haven't fixed this. It really is super simple. It really does not take a long time. The first thing that I want to say to you before I even get into this is you have to be ready, and you have to want this. You have to want this on a subconscious level, not just a conscious level. Okay? There's a huge difference there. You have to want this on a subconscious level. You have to be so fucking ready to break this cycle that nothing is going to stand in your way. No matter what comes in front of you, no matter what challenges, no matter what thoughts and beliefs try to stop you from breaking the cycle, you are so determined to break it. It's done. It's completely done. So it's a 4-step process that I do for women. And so I just want to go through this with you. It's not in any particular order what I'm going to share with you. It's just the steps. Okay. So the 4-step process that I teach women who have been through these painful abusive relationships is to go deep into a deep understanding of how and why this happened. That's step 1. How and why this happened. That's really important, because you can't fix it until you understand it. and you can't heal it until you feel it. So understanding how and why this has happened, these repeated cycles, is really, really important, because once that piece of the puzzle is put into place, this is everything after that is like, that first piece, like, oh, okay. I get it. Okay. So what I do then is show what self-love is. So loving all of themselves, loving all of you, okay? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Not just the parts that we put on Facebook, hey, I got a new car, got a new job. No, all of it. You gotta love all of you, okay? The flaws, the fucked up shit, the shit you've been through, the shit that was done to you, the parts of your body that you don't like, that you may feel ashamed of, the parts of your past that you don't like, that you won't even, sometimes we don't even see it. Like, it's not only the past that I'm not willing to face, it's the past that you may have buried so deep down that you don't even see it. You don't even remember. So you gotta love the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I have them love the abuse story. This is important. You've gotta love the abuse story and your abuser. That's healing. That is healing. You can't blame, you can't hate, or when you blame the other person and when you hate the other person, this is how the repeated patterns keep showing up. Okay, so this is, you gotta love the abuse story so that you are free from the internal prison that you've been locked in for so long. And that's really what it is, right? Those repeated thoughts and beliefs that you keep rolling and playing inside of your head, this is an internal prison. And like myself, up until 8 years ago, that was my internal prison for 41 years. No, that's impossible. 40, whatever. A long time ago. So I show them what forgiveness is and how forgiving themselves and their abuser is key to having the internal and external freedom. Okay, I know you hear about forgiveness all the time. What I do is I show you that forgiveness releases the pain in your heart. Okay, it allows you to have compassion for yourself, for your story, and for anyone who hurt you in the past. Okay, so that's step 2, forgiveness. Well, step 1 was the understanding, but that's just like a piece of it. So it's self-love, it's forgiveness, and I share with women how trust is a huge factor in healing after toxic relationships. It's the number one thing that women tell me that they can't get through. They don't trust. They don't trust men. They don't trust themselves. They think they're gonna screw it up and repeat it again. Some women will even stay single because of this, because they don't trust. They're willing to sacrifice themselves because they haven't learned how to trust again. And so that's me. Yeah, it's so super common, Tammy. Like, you are not alone in this. There's so many women that it's just listen, the truth is when you've been hurt so badly, no wonder why you don't want to trust. I don't fucking blame you. Of course, that it's, you know what that pain feels like, and you don't want to go through it again. So there's a huge wall around you. There's a huge, brick wall that you've built up inside and outside of you, and you're not letting anybody in because you're scared that it's going to happen again. How do I know that you're trustworthy? How do I know that you're not going to hurt me again? All of those thoughts run through your head, and rightfully so. So you're not alone in that. And I don't want you to think, again, that there's something wrong with you thinking that way. It's perfectly normal, and you have a right to feel that way. You absolutely do. So trusting yourself is vital in being able to trust others in the world. And this is what I teach. It can feel very overwhelming to think, how am I going to trust this person, that person, or somebody I haven't even met yet? This is why I say this over and over. Everything begins and ends with you. You don't need to learn how to trust other people. You only need to learn how to trust you. That's it, just you. So letting go of the past allows trust to come in and take place. When you understand that you are naturally trusting, or born this way, this is what I share with my clients, that it's simply been a muscle that has not been used in a while, the concept of trust becomes easier for you. So think of trust as a muscle. Think of your child, if you're a parent, or if you come across a baby. Why do you think we have to teach them not to, do this or go, this or that, talk to strangers, don't go up to strange dogs, it might bite you. Why do you think we teach children this? Because we are born trusting. It is naturally in you to trust. But what happens is because of your outside environment, the way you were raised, which is normal. I tell my kids the same thing, like, don't go with the stranger, don't talk to strangers, right? But we're taught not to trust. And so basically what I'm sharing is that you have a trust muscle, and all it is it just hasn't been worked out, just like going to the gym. You haven't been to the gym in a while. You start off with the 5-pound weights, right? And then using the 5-pound weights and using the 5-pound weights turns into, I think I can go to 8. And because now the 5-pound weights feel so light, you go to the 8-pounders. It's the same thing. It's just a muscle. That's all it is. Telling your truth. Here's the next one. Telling your truth. Being able to share the most and what used to be shameful things about your past is liberating to do. One of the things that I was so super ashamed to share, or even just not even share, just admit to myself and talk about, was that my ex-husband gave me chlamydia 3 times. The first 2 times I was pregnant with our children. My first 2 pregnancies, I tested positive for chlamydia. This was something that I was so ashamed of that I would not utter these words to anybody, because I felt, again, how could I let this happen? 3 times, but the first 2 times was when I was pregnant. I'm so stupid. How could I let this happen? Of course he was cheating on me. I didn't want to admit he was cheating on me. All these thoughts ran through my head. But hold on, I gotta switch hands. But what I realized, now I share this on stage, I share this with you, I share this all over, I share it in my emails, I share it all the time. There's no shame and there's no blame and there's no guilt about your past, okay? That's where you got to get to. That's the healing part, right? This is you sharing 100% with confidence in yourself. So you know that you now are proud of the woman that you are and were. This is so important. You've got to love that little girl. You got to love that 22-year-old that made mistakes. You got to love the 18-year-old that made mistakes, screwed up. You got to love her. So you looking back and feel any shame about yourself and what you went through, that you can look back and just love that part of you. Okay? All right. So when you master loving all of you, trusting all of you, forgiving yourself, and sharing your truth, you've healed. You've healed from the abusive situation. And this is where the big shifts come in. And boundaries are in place. And love is there. And holding your own is strong. And the past has no power over you anymore. This is you confident that you will only experience healthy relationships, that you are confident in your abilities to trust yourself and others, and that you are confident in that you are at the control wheel now, and that you call the shots now, and that you can share you can create anything that you want in your life. You are a fucking powerhouse. So this is how I help women break the cycles, the toxic cycles. Self-love, first understanding how and why, then loving the whole shawana shebang bang. Then forgiveness, trust, and truth. These are the ways that I help women heal from, break the toxic cycles, heal from these toxic cycles. Because when you come out on the other end healed, you are not a people pleaser anymore. You're not showing up in mother energy anymore, right? Mother energy is loves too much, gives too much, does too much, right? You have boundaries in place. Like when somebody crosses over, here's the thing about boundaries, and when you come out on the other end, you don't even, the boundaries they go without being said. When Ray and I got together, I didn't have to set boundaries. I didn't have to say, you don't do this or don't. No. There was a mutual respect there. And the mutual respect comes with the boundaries. I respect him. I don't cross any boundaries. And him to me. So when you respect yourself from A to Z, other people respect you. Because remember, energy attracts like energy. So whatever you're emitting out is coming back to you. Think of yourself and your energy. And your energy is your thoughts. Your energy is the words you use, the thoughts you think, the beliefs you have. Okay? That's your energy. So the energy you put out, think of it like a boomerang. So if you put out into the world, I'm a people pleaser. I bow down to people. I'll say yes to things that I want to say no to, or I say no to things I want to say yes to. Then what comes back to you is that you will get people who will challenge you in your beliefs, in the way you are. Like energy attracts like energy. It may seem like it's opposites, but it's not. It's actually a match. Okay? This is why I talk about how empathic women or empathic people match up to narcissistic people, because empaths they only want to see the good in people. They don't want to recognize the bad. And they are loving, good-hearted people. And so the narcissist clings to that, loves that, because of the way the empathic person is. The empathic person looks to the narcissist and says, I can save this person. I can help him or her. And so that's why it's a match. It seems like it's the opposite, because one is total opposite of the other, but it's actually a match. So everything in you are putting out to the world, and the world is bringing it back to you. So I hope this helps. It's just extra support for you during this time, since we're all homebound and can't go anywhere. I wanted to just pop on here. The only thing that I want to share with you as a call to action is I am, with 2 other women, hosting an event Saturday, April 11th. It's called Women's Awakening Global Summit. It's absolutely free. You just sign up with your name and your email address, and it's going to be a live event. So it's myself, it's Mia Sands, and Amy Turner, and all 3 of us are going to, it's basically going to be like a panel where we're going to take your questions, anything that you want. So each of us, we're professionals in like the healing, almost dropped my phone. In healing trauma, self-love activist. Amy's a therapist, along with being a coach and hypnotherapist. So each of us do the same thing, but we do it in our own way, right? So this is for you not only to show up and get your questions answered, but you get to meet 2 new people. You get to meet Amy, you get to meet Mia, and you get to share, and anybody else who's on it. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to the event. It's a live summit, like I said, in the comments below. I would love to see you there. I'd love for you to join us. And it's next Saturday, the 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're on the East Coast, it's 1 p.m. If you're on the West Coast, it's 10 a.m. So that's what I invite you to. You're going to hear me talk about that all week. I also have some other upcoming free events for you to get excited about. Whatever resonates with you, join us. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine. Don't sign up for it. I want you all in. And have an amazing Saturday. I love you so much. Thank you for being so active in the group. Thank you for showing up, asking questions, reaching out, getting the guidance and support that you need. Right now is such a beautiful time. Really, and maybe I'll do a Facebook Live on this about how right now it is the time for healing. All this slowing down, it really is the time. You're welcome, Tammy. It's the time for healing, and there's a reason why all of this is happening, this pandemic. So I don't want you to feel afraid or scared. If there's any topic that you want to, if you want me to address, please let me know. Hey, Christy, please let me know. This is I love doing this. All right, my loves. Mwah. Talk to you later.